Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be using this sketch here. I got it from Pinterest, and my links to my Pinterest are down below. You can follow my sketchboard. I'm always adding new sketches. There's probably even some repeat sketches in there. Whenever I see something and it's interesting to me, I always add it. So definitely check that out. We're continuing on with using this blush collection. And on this one, we're going to go ahead and get started. I have everything kind of pre-cut, and with sketches like this, if they don't include measurements for mats, just FYI, I always do 1/8 of an inch mat. You can do 1/4 of an inch, so if it's 4 by 2, just make it 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. If you just want the 1/8 of an inch, make it 4 1/8 by 2 1/8. Okay, so that's how I get it. So whatever the measurement is, add 1/8 of an inch, and that's what you cut out your mat paper to. So our base paper, our mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then our pattern paper that goes on top is always 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's the one that we're laying down now. And I like this color pink because it was sort of, what do they call it, ombre, where it starts at that lighter color and then it goes up to the darker pink. Really subtle and a great piece to build up off of. Excuse me, all of a sudden I had a yawn. So I'm taking this, the dark blue stripe. Now on the measurements, they have it going from the 4 1/4 to 4 1/4, the whole length of the width. Okay, so they make it the 4 1/4 inches long. I decided to change that up. That's what I was doing just then. I was cutting it down only because I don't like it going over top of my matte paper. So I made mine 4 inches even because it's going to go the width of the pattern paper itself, which to me is a much better look. It just looks cleaner. It doesn't look like an accident. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the tape on the back. Now for this video, I decided to do something just a little bit different, and you guys let me know if you prefer it this way. If so, I'll try and do more of these more often. I'm keeping this one in regular time. There's not a whole lot to this video, so I just wanted to show you, I'm not always that fast, but once I've already had the paperwork cut, the papers cut, it doesn't take long to put these sketches together, which card sketches allow for mass producing. It just makes it so much easier because you can cut everything in bulk and then just put it together. So for this strip here, I want to say, I can't see from here, but I want to say it is 2 inches by 4 inches. So this matte piece I did cut at 2 1/8 by 4 1/8, which gives me that nice border, slight border around. Now for this one, I'm being mindful of the glue that I put in the center, only because whenever it's foiled paper, if like when I do my little squigglies, you can sometimes see the squiggly behind the foil, and you'll see that in the close-up pictures, because on the one I did off camera, you can see it. So I spread the glue kind of evenly on the back of where the foiled circles were, so that way I wouldn't get any of that the glue pattern showing from behind, if that makes sense. So now for this one, same thing. And I know a lot of people always ask, why do I use both? I use the tape runner and the glitter glue because I want to make sure, one, I have time to kind of move my paper around. I want to make sure that I'm not committed to where I put it down, because sometimes you don't put it down in the right spot. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful, and you want to make sure, then use that wet glue. And then our piece is going to go right here. And I was thinking, instead of just putting it straight down, I'm like, let's get some foam tape. you know, show it differently. So for this particular pattern, even though it's pretty simple, we're going to grab some foam, which I'm just grabbing off camera here real quick. And then we're going to lay that down. And then this whole strip too I'm going to use, because I put it on the ends as long as possible, and then what I have left over I put right in the center so that it's pretty even when I go to put it on the card front. And then I'm just going to peel the backing off, and you can see sometimes it gives me a little problems. If it does, sometimes I would use the sharp end of the scissors to help get underneath, and you can peel it off that way, or a pokey tool, anything like that. But once I get that off, we're going to go ahead and lay this down. And the kind of same thing with foam tape. Every once in a while, I will put wet glue on the back of that, because sometimes if it's tricky with where I have to lay it, I'm going to put it there so that way I'll have time there I can lift it up and move it. The wet glue definitely gives you a little bit of time. And then for the birthday wishes sentiment, which I stamped in the circle that we're going to put right there, I'm going to grab a little piece of foam that I'm going to put on the one side, and then the side where it's attaching to the pattern paper, we're going to put some wet glue. So I'm just cutting a small piece, and we're going to put it right there on the back. And then there we go. Boom. All right. I'm just making sure I got it in the right spot. Then I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off, and then put some of the wet glue where it's going to butt up against really our focal paper. And then we're going to put that down. All right. And then any of the wet glue, if I can pick it up, I try to. And only because on the foil, I didn't want it to be on the foily part of the paper. But it does dry clear, so it's okay to just leave it. You know, it happens. And then I always try to make sure I put my top back on, my glue, so that way it doesn't get clogged. And now we're going to do our Nuvo drops. And you can see here, I'm just very slowly putting them, trying to be as lined as possible. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but that's what I'm trying to do. All right, now that I put that on, I'm gonna grab my card and we're going to tap it, and there you have it, the final project. And then this is the one that I did off camera, and you can see right there in that circle by where the birthday wishes are, you can see a little bit of the swirl that I was talking about in the foil. That's the part that I was trying to avoid on the other one, because I knew I was going to have that really big foiled circle. So I didn't want to create that similar situation. But it still turns out pretty. I love these colors, and everything is really perfect. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And if you hit the little bell right next to the subscribe button, it'll give you alerts whenever I'm uploading new content. And definitely leave comments down below. I love reading them, and I try to respond to everybody. And here goes the close-ups. And at the very end, I'll have links to previous card sketches. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, definitely check out the links at the end. And everybody else, I hope you have a great weekend.